Brought to you by BetUS. Use promo code Iceman. You're going to get 125% deposit bonus, matching your initial deposit. Only available in US, Canada, and Europe. Breaking news. It's official or verbally agreed. The fight we thought was going to happen is happening. Khamzat Chimaev takes on Nate Diaz. The murder of Nate Diaz, or the homicide. He is going to get mollywopped, I believe, by Khamzat Chimaev. Exactly what the UFC wants. You're going to talk shit about the UFC, and that's how they're going to do you for your last fight. They're going to put you with Khamzat Chimaev, who's actually not even in Nate's weight class. Nate's a guy who probably should be fighting at that catch weight of 165, 160, but preferably his best fights have came at 155. I think that's his best weight class. 170, the guys there are just too big for Nate Diaz, I believe. Like the Usmans, the Kobes, the Leon Edwards, they're just a little too big for Nate. And then you're fighting a guy, Khamzat, who's actually a little too big for 170. He should be fighting at 185. You've seen how hard it was for him to make the weight. So he's going to have a huge size advantage. He beats Nate everywhere. His striking's better than Nate. Hits harder. Wrestling, not even close. Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling on another level. Jiu-jitsu, sure, we can give Nate the edge in jiu-jitsu. I don't think he's going to get a submission, but the only advantage I will give to Nate Diaz is his cardio, and this is a 5-round fight. So maybe the only way I see Nate winning is he gets his ass beat for 20 minutes and comes back because Khamzat is just exhausted from kicking Nate's ass so long. And we all know Khamzat has a hard time making weight, which means if any of you guys know if you made weight before or cut weight, that your cardio is not going to be the same. So that's the only advantage I give to Nate Diaz is the cardio. But everywhere else, man, dude, Khamzat's gonna murder this guy. And then Nate's, I used to be a huge Nick and Nate Diaz fan, and then they started just talking too much weird shit, and I don't know. I'm not a fan of Nate anymore. Dude, he's just such an idiot, man. He was on Ariel Helwani's show the other day, and he's talking about how much money he's making now and how much money the UFC's offering him, but then he'll go on some other website or some other interview and he'll be talking about how he deserves more money. But then I was like, yo, you just said they're offering you what you asked for and what you deserve, and now you want to go leave. And the guy's just an idiot, dude. I just hope Khamzat's gonna knock his head into another dimension and he can go fight Jake Paul or whatever. And who knows if that's fight is going to be there. What if Jake Paul loses to Hasim Rahman? Then you can't do the Nate Diaz fight. It's definitely not as big. And is Jake Paul selling that many pay-per-views? So let's check the odds here. UFC 279. This is the only website I see with the odds drop so far. Jesus, minus 1,000 for Khamzat Chimaev. That's what they think of Nate Diaz. And Nate Diaz, man, whew, that's a tough fight for your last fight. I mean, if you're Nate Diaz, you got to be just pretty upset that the UFC is doing this, but at the same time, it's understandable, man. You're going to talk all this stuff, and the UFC is probably going to do you dirty because especially if you bring up fighter pay, dude. If you bring up fighter pay and you're one of those guys that is all about the fighter pay and saying fighters get underpaid and this, that, dude, the UFC hates that shit. If you guys know Cajun Johnson was all doing the whole fighter pay, the fighter union shit, joined it. UFC was like, oh, you want to be part of the union? Cool. Here's Islam Makhachev on your last fight on your contract. See how that works out for you. Islam just murdered the guy, subbed him so fast in the first round, and that was the end of Cajun Johnson. You've never heard or seen from him again. And Nate Diaz, at the end of the day, if he wants to say he's underpaid by the UFC, even though I think he's top 5 earnings wise in the UFC under, behind Conor McGregor, obviously. I mean, dude, where would Nate Diaz be without the UFC? Nowhere, right? And look, let's say I'm looking at his age right now, age 37, and he's taking on Khamzat Chimaev, who's like 28 years old. I mean, Nate's got double-digit losses, like 20 wins, 13 losses, bro. That's horrible. He's just got that big name. He's lost 3 fights in his last 4 fights. He got 1 win, and that was over Anthony Pettis, Anthony Pettis is dog shit right now, dude. He's been pooping his diaper over in the PFL, and so that's not an impressive win. Yeah, I mean, and then what they're going to try to do with Hamzat is they're going to give him the title shot after this, I believe. And you might think, oh, why would they do that? He's just beating Nate Diaz. Well, look, they gave it to Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards beat Nate Diaz's last fight. Not impressively at all. Nate Diaz almost KO'd him, and now look, he's getting the title shot against Marty Usman. So, crazy. This is the fight, though, that everyone wants to see. This is actually a main event, non-title fight main event. So 5-rounder, which will favor Nate Diaz in the later rounds if he's able to even drag this fight there. I have a feeling he might get KO'd. This fight might remind you a lot of Nate Diaz versus Rory McDonald. If you guys never seen Rory versus Nate Diaz, go back, check that fight out, and Nate Diaz is just getting tossed around. Yeah, let me know what you guys think on this fight, Nate versus Khamzat. Do you guys agree with the matchup? Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Out.